Wow.
Jake Paul, I mean, as of right now, for what he's doing, it's good for what he's doing. But once he fights a real fighter, it's going to be bad.
If that fight ends up being close,
yes,
a lot of people are going to watch that fight, right?
A lot, because I think a lot of people are going to want to see Jake Paul lose, and
100%.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Floyd Mayweather has criticized the notion of Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez facing off, claiming that Jake would be destroyed. Canelo Alvarez is regarded as one of the smartest businessmen in boxing. He does not just take fights based on competition. He takes fights that generate massive paydays, which is why Jake Paul thinks Canelo will eventually fight him.
Have you been impressed?
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he? And Floyd, there are many people who believe you're the most talented fighter ever, period. So whatever you say to this question, I think is important. Are you impressed? Does he have boxing ability, or is he just an entertainer who has a lot of fans and can promote a fight and has fought lesser opponents? Or is he actually talented?
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
Does he have the ability, with what you've seen, to continue to mold himself into somebody who can actually? He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's where his mindset's at.
It get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry, just TMG.
You can curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
no apologize about it.
There's no way he get demolished. But for what he's doing, as long as they keep getting YouTubers and keep putting them in there with MMA guys.
Mayweather claimed Jake looks good against YouTubers and non-box fighters but would struggle against real fighters. Jake has continuously positioned himself as the biggest boxing entertainer, saying that fans enjoy watching him whether they want to see him win or lose. He thinks that fighters like Canelo will eventually have to face him because of his ability to create pay-per-view sales. According to Jake, a fight between him and Canelo would be profitable for both parties, earning millions of dollars.
I think it's very, very realistic. And people may think that sounds crazy, but Canelo is a smart businessman. And at the end of the day, he wants to do big fights and make, entertainment, make huge entertainment products. And my skill set is improving every single day. And that's what doing fights like this are about, taking on real professional fighters, so that eventually I could take on tougher fighters. And I see Canelo versus Jake Paul happening in the next 24 months. It just makes so much sense. And also people forget that, I'm 200 pounds. I have a size advantage. All of these things that start to add up, which make it such an interesting fight that I fully believe I'll win. There's the KSIs, the Tommy Furies, the Nate Diaz MMA fight. But I don't know if these guys actually want to put it on the line. We've tried to make a Floyd fight happen. Floyd's ducked it. So I don't know if these guys really want to take a...
Another well-known boxing commentator, Jeff Mayweather, flatly rejected the notion of Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez facing off, saying that no one in the sport would take the bout seriously because it is just not realistic.
All right, here with Jeff Mayweather. Jeff, appreciate taking the time. Unfortunately, the Hasim Rahman Jr. Jake Paul fight has been canceled. Jake said something very interesting, though. He said that the big fight out there right now is Canelo. And he said, hey, Canelo can be beat. Bivol gave the blueprint, and I'm just like Bivol. I have the same powers, similar attributes, speed, elusiveness, all, he's basically I don't want to say carbon copy, but he's very similar to Bivol. So he would match up favorably with Canelo. Hard to argue. He's undefeated so far and boxers are ducking him. What do you think?
Well, maybe. Why don't he just fight Bivol then? Canelo's already fight somebody. He fight Triple G.
But Canelo's the money, right?
Not anymore.
He's more money than Bivol.
He's probably more money than Bivol.
Especially if he beats Triple G.
Yeah, he's still probably more money than him. But the thing is that,
Jeff even joked that he thought Jake Paul might as well declare his desire to face Muhammad Ali. Jake is continuously criticizing elite boxers in his fantasy world without demonstrating his mettle against actual opponents. Jeff thinks Canelo would never agree to this fight since it would not be competitive at all. They debated the issue on Ariel Helwani's show, stating unequivocally that there is no world in which Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez could fight. They think Jake is living in a fantasy if he believes he can compete against Canelo, and it is not just unlikely, it's impossible. Carl Fr., a former world champion, added his voice to the debate and cautioned that if this bout takes place, it will be nasty.
Influencer versus pound for pound great being the hang up in the fight, being the one that stops the momentum. Because it's not happening. There is no world.
Okay, then let me ask
May
you
I be
this.
struck by lightning right now if this is possible?
Does
Wow, a lightning bet from.
if this happens,
Right.
if this happens,
There's just no way. There is no way.
Wait. If what happens? If the fight happens, or if the upset of
if
the
Jake
century
Paul,
happens?
If Jake Paul derails Terrence Crawford versus Canelo by
All credit to
beating
him.
Canelo,
then you book
there's
Jake
no
Paul
chance.
versus Terrence Crawford.
Zero.
okay, let me ask you this. If that fight ends up being close,
Yes.
a lot of
It
people
won't.
are going to watch that fight, right?
A
People
lot,
Yes.
because I think a lot of people are going to want to
Let's-
see Jake Paul lose, and
100%.
FR has been an outspoken opponent of Jake Paul's boxing career and is adamant that Jake has the skills necessary to compete against Canelo. Jake would be thoroughly outclassed and possibly injured, according to FR, who also underlined that Canelo is a vicious fighter who doesn't spare his opponents. If Jake fights Canelo, he will not simply lose, he would be exposed, despite the overwhelming skepticism of boxing pundits. Although most people think it would be a mismatch, Jake Paul's trainer has intimated that a formal announcement about Jake versus Canelo is imminent. This statement has stoked rumors that the fight might take place.
He'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finances. But I'll take the fucking payday, of course I will. And I'll end Jake Paul with one punch. I'd go in there one-armed and beat this guy. He can't box. He's absolutely fucking useless, which we saw last night with Mike Tyson. Talking about Canelo Alvarez. I've not mentioned Canelo Alvarez because it's just laughable. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez. Can you imagine? I mean, if Jake Paul fancies that and he jumps in the ring with him, I will pay homage to him because fair play. If he jumps in there with Canelo Alvarez, he'll get absolutely fucking destroyed and it will be fast and it will be messy and it will be bad for his health.
Jake is bluffing to get media attention, according to some admirers. While others believe there may be some truth to the rumors either way, his trainer's comments have added fuel to the fire. If Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez is expected to happen in May, then Jake simply will not have enough time to prepare. Boxing experts have pointed out that Jake needs months of preparation just to get into the proper weight class and condition himself for a fight against someone like Canelo. Given the timeline, it seems highly unlikely that Jake will be ready to face a fighter of Canelo's level by May, even if the fight was scheduled later in the year. Many believe Jake wouldn't be able to close the massive skill gap between him and Canelo, regardless of how much time he has to train.
Fighting next. I can't give you the insight. I can't give you the insight. Just know that announcement coming real soon. Real soon. Let me ask you a question then. Obviously, you're not going to tell me. Okay. You keep moving. Come here. Let me. All right, my bad.
Most boxing analysts agree that if this fight happens, it won't last very long. Many believe that Canelo would knock Jake out in the first round. Jake is trying to step into the ring with one of the greatest boxers in the sport, and the consensus is that he simply isn't ready for that kind of challenge. If the fight does happen, fans should not expect it to go. Past the opening rounds, Canelo Alvarez has been praised by Joe Rogan for his hitting power and defensive understanding. Canelo's precision footwork and counter-punching ability make him a nightmare for anyone, let alone someone with Jake Paul's level of experience.
You said that you'd like to go up against Canelo Alvarez. What gives you the right to call out a 59-2 boxer, one of the greatest of all time, when you've not yet proven yourself?
I'm predicting what's going to happen
In
3
the
more years
3
from now.
years, so 3
I'm going to
years.
get to his skill level and beat him. I have one of the greatest self-belief systems in the world, and I know what I'm capable of. And with this new team, I can give Canelo a serious run for his money.
Would you ever do like exhibitions like that, or like people like Jake Paul call you out, or these like other big stars? Like, is that business-wise like even worth it?
When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I do it. I think it's
Like when you're done like competing at the highest level, you're saying?
Yeah.
Rogan has stated time and time again that Canelo is one of the most dangerous fighters in the world, highlighting how he controls every aspect of a fight. Even while the majority of boxing experts have dismissed the concept of Jake versus Canelo, if reputable combat sports analyst Joe Rogan feels that Canelo is superior, It simply serves to further demonstrate that Jake Paul has no business competing against him. Many fans are stunned that there is even a remote possibility that this battle may occur. Jake has been making bold comments about Canelo for years, suggesting that he needs him for a large payout. Now that there are rumors of a fight, people are wondering if it will actually happen, although it does not. Jake has done what he does best, which is to generate excitement about the possibilities. That concludes today's video. Watch this space until the next one.